Green with you at the Stegman Coliseum in Lateral. The Georgia Bulldogs beating Arkansas State in the paint. 16 of the Dogs' 23 points have come in the lane.
And these are all calls from the sideline by Coach Fox. They have a size advantage on Arkansas State, and they continue to pound the ball in the paint. Again, it creates easy offense. You don't have to do anything special. Just take what Arkansas State's given them. They don't have a shot blocker, so Georgia's going to continue to exploit them in the paint.
And you saw the advantage for the Bulldogs, 16-4 right now, points in the paint. As Rashad Allison steps up to the line, 88.9% free throw shooter, leads the team, 16 of 18 on the season, would be among the Sun Belt leaders had he had enough attempts to qualify, knocks down the first.
And he's a very good player. From Arkansas State told me, this guy has a lot of skills. He's going to be a very solid point guard for this team. They really like what this guy brings to the team. Allison is an excellent floor general. 9
points now for Allison, who averages 6.6 a game, so he's already over his number, his per game average. Interesting in that we have the top two ball handlers in their respective conferences in this ball game today. Allison leads the Sun Belt in assist to turnover ratio, and Dustin Ware, number 3, leads the SEC.
And Dustin Ware is playing with tremendous confidence. If it wasn't for him knocking down those threes late in the second half against Georgia Tech, Georgia would have lost that game. So these two guys have a great duet going on. It's going to be a good matchup between these 2 point guards from both teams.
Jeremy Thomas was called for the foul on Arkansas State. That is his first. Vincent Williams on the dribble for the Bulldogs. Looking inside to Trey Tompkins. Kirkland doing a good job of denying. Tompkins ended up with it anyway, but missed the fall away.
Well, that's the shot if you're Arkansas State that you want Tompkins shooting, a fall away jumper.
Townsell with the basket and was fouled on the play.
It's kind of funny. Georgia has been dominating this game in the paint, and Arkansas State continues to fight. As you see, a coast-to-coast drive, which drives coaches crazy when you have guys dribbling from one end of the court to the other, and the defender doesn't step up to stop him.
Townsell misses the opportunity to put Arkansas State into a tie with Georgia, so the Bulldogs maintain a 1-point lead. Dustin Ware is yet to score in this ball game, or at least from the outside. Arkansas State on a 9-2 run as Barnes can't handle the pass.
Great recognition by Arkansas State. Georgia ran a side pick and roll. Trey Tompkins thought he had a clean roll to the basket. The defender rolled over, stopped him, and created a turnover.
Edward Townsell brings the ball up the floor, nearly stolen by Vincent Williams. 3-second violation is going to be the call on Kirkland. One-point lead for Georgia, 9.5 minutes to play here in the opening half. As we've alluded to, the Bulldogs have not played in 11 days. Their last ball game, a 73-72 victory over Georgia Tech. It was just the second time in the 16 years of that rivalry, last 16 years, as Leslie hits the jumper, that the visiting team won. First time Georgia had won at Georgia Tech in 10 years. But Mark Fox was a little concerned that there might be shake-off in this ball game. They've been breaking for final exams now for over a week and a half.
And it's the wrong time to have rust because, again, a John Brady coach team, they're going to come after you. And as you see now, Arkansas State, they're not backing up. They're taking it right at the Dogs.
Sterenberg missed the layup. Ball was knocked out of bounds by Georgia. Red Wolves are a man down today. One of their top scorers, their number 1 man off the bench, Daniel Bryant, is back in Jonesboro, Arkansas. He has been suspended indefinitely. Finn on the inbounds. Rebound controlled by Arkansas State. Sterenberg for 3. And Tompkins ends up with the rebound for the Bulldogs. Bryant, police say, was arrested Thursday as Williams misses the jumper. Police say he was arrested Thursday for allegedly kicking in the door of his girlfriend's apartment and then allegedly assaulting her. And so John Brady says no whether Daniel Bryant will be back with the team. That's a big loss to them offensively. He averaged 10 points a game and had led them in 3 of their 9 games scoring.
And knowing Coach Brady like I know him, when he says indefinitely, believe that when somebody isn't following the rules of the team, you will not play for John Brady.
Kirkland backs down Tompkins and banks it in.
Malcolm Kirkland, he's a transfer from Oklahoma State as well. A very hard worker, a good defender, another big body that Arkansas State really needs to play here today well against Georgia.
Well, as you know, Laterial, it's all about connections, whether it's basketball or the business world, and the connections worked for John Brady. We'll talk more about that in just a moment. 7.5 minutes to play here in the opening half with Arkansas State hanging in there, down 1 to Georgia. Bulldogs with just one field goal over the last 4 minutes and 11 seconds, while Arkansas State has fashioned a 9-2 run. Chance to take the lead. Entry pass was intercepted. And Leslie tried to draw contact, didn't get a whistle. Ball ends up in the corner in the hands of Donald Boone.
Very.
Look at your stat track as the Red Wolves bring the ball up the floor. Again, a chance to take the lead with a basket. Donald Boone, story of perseverance, a 6th year. Ball on the deck. Thomas ends up with it. Timeout called by John Brady.
Final Four, and also a young and Isaac Brown, one of the top assistant coaches in the country. We look for him to be a head coach here very soon. So he has a lot of guys over there with him that can teach the game of basketball.
Adams had his shot blocked by Leslie. And Arkansas State retains control.
Arkansas State's fighting. Coach Fox has to be a little nervous here because you don't want this team hanging around like this, because once it gets in the second half and it's a close game, you can get very tight. And, this is typical of Georgia, but I know Coach Fox isn't happy about the way they're playing on the defensive end.
Foul away from the ball, and it is against Arkansas State. The record, as we mentioned, is deceiving. They had a chance to win at Ole Miss, lost by 9 to Missouri State, lost by 7 to Pacific, had a lead in that ball game in the second half. Same story with Pepperdine, and then the overtime loss to Memphis. There are 4 games right there that they felt like they had a chance to win. If you just get half of those games, then you're 5-4 on the season instead of 6.
They are a much better team than their record reflects. And like I said earlier, nobody's going to want to see this team in the Sun Belt Conference.
With that SEC coaching staff they have over there, they were prepared for this trip into Athens. They've all coached here plenty of times before. Brady at LSU, Isaac Brown when he was at Arkansas, Richard Williams when he was the head coach at Mississippi State. In fact, Richard Williams and John Brady might share the